How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Last time, we had an excellent date with Emmy. We've really kicked things off as just real formal. We're actually dating. It went way smoother than I thought it was. A lot of times, love stories tend to ramble on and have all the miscommunications and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be interesting how we're going to probably examining not just the dating process, but also the being in a relationship process and the oddness that will come just based on the personality of the two characters. Well, granted, one character, Emmy, having an actual personality, and Hisao having a kind of personality because he's a bit of a blank slate. But, yeah. Also, at the end of last episode, kind of the date, like, we noticed at the very end that she was limping slightly, which I can totally understand. Like, on one hand, you'd think, well, why didn't you notice earlier? But then at the same time, like, he doesn't constantly, like, obsess over her and her injury or her malady. He instead was focused on her, and so I could totally see myself doing the same thing. Then the question came up whether to like press like how much we're like, hey, that's bad, you need to pay attention to that. But I decided to lean on the side of, you know what, she's herself, we should be able to trust her. If she says she's okay, she's probably okay. We know she's willing to talk to us, and she knows that we're concerned. That's usually enough. So let's see what happens the next day. It's gonna be interesting. I have no idea what to expect. Alright. The morning is far too early for my taste. It doesn't help that I've had trouble sleeping last night. There were simply too many things to think about. My mind refused to slow down. Instead, I replayed the rooftop, the park, and everything else over and over in my mind. Was that all in one day? Like, I think it was, but like, dang, that was a crazy day. A small part of my mind is still paranoid that this has all been some kind of joke. That I'll meet up with Emmy at the track. She'll act like nothing happened yesterday. Well, she might, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Pushing these thoughts to the back of my mind, I throw my running clothes and open the door. Emmy's waiting there for me with her usual smile. You're late. That was not quite right. Let me try to fix that. Or at least, you're not early today. Are you tired or something? I find myself ruefully rubbing the back of my head. Something like that, yeah. Lots to think about and all that. Emmy giggles at my mild understatement. Yeah, I didn't sleep that well either. I was actually glad you weren't early, because I wasn't early either. Wonder if the same thing kept us awake. The image of her weeping face passes through my mind. What kept you up? Amy's expression falters, but she quickly notices my curiosity and forces a smile. Nothing important. She's obviously not telling me something. But, dude, chill. She's allowed to kind of have secrets. Like a grease man. The question is, should I press the issue? Something's clearly been bothering her for a while. I want to help her, but would I just come off as me being nosy? She's got to know that I care about her, though. Are you sure? If something's bothering you, I'm here to help you sort it out. Emmy's laughs then, but it's not her usual laugh. There's an edge to it that seems almost bitter. Sorted out? I'm not sure it can be sorted out, Hisao. Almost grim smile across their lips. It's like the smile of resignation. I don't think you could help me anyway. That hurts. I didn't want to say that it hurts to her, but it does. Doesn't she realize I want to be there for her when things go wrong? Well, I won't push you on the matter, but I'm here for you if you decide later that you'd like to talk about it. It might help. I can see their debate raging behind Emmy's eyes. You know what, dude? Maybe she needs time. You never know. I don't know. I was always like this, and it bothered me. Like, looking back at my old self, I really hated how obsessive I could be about wanting to be the person who's there for people, especially when it was somebody I cared about. Heck, I also was doing this in the friend zone most of the time, too, so, you know, that was doubly worse and just terrible, but, like, I really should have just taken a chill pill. And I hope Hisao learns to do that, too, because, like, while it's good to be persistent and to repeat things like, I care about you, I want to be there for you, and like give those words of affirmation, they need to have some meaning to it. And part of being there for somebody is being there when they need you there. You don't need to be a helicopter partner. And I don't think Hisao's trying to be a helicopter partner, but he's obsessing a little. It's great, it's understandable, he's in the honeymoon infatuation stage. Obsession's a bit of a part of that, but hopefully he'll mellow out soon. Seems like she wants to tell me, but she's not sure whether or not she can. Hey, forget about it for now, okay? We've got running to do. The mention of running, something that she can handle, brings Emmy back to her usual self. Right. Hurry up and stretch out, Hisao. We've got to get moving. She takes off like a shot, far quicker than I'm used to. Still, I try to keep pace with her, recklessly testing my limits. It gives me a feeling of freedom, like my heart is no longer important. I find myself wanting to laugh, filled with a feeling of moving beyond what I once called my boundaries. That would be cool. I think I should. I really like this story in itself is teaching me that I kind of want to become a runner. I'm gonna hate it, but I feel like what if I could just push past that barrier that's always been there for me? What if I could get to the point where I actually liked it? I'd love to be someone who likes running. I'd love to. I really would. My hair is crazy, by the way. It will not listen. I need a haircut. I need a haircut bad. The nurse's warnings to not outdo things echo in my mind, and I disregard them. Uh-oh. The feeling I have, this willingness to take a heart attack for something so trivial as a morning run, feels out of character for me. But is it? Or rather, should it be? I've got a weak heart, sure. It'll never be capable of the kind of speed and endurance Emmy's capable of, though I probably wouldn't be able to get that good even if I had a healthy heart. As we round the final bend of my legs screaming in protest, but for the first time, I ignore them. I accelerate to finish in a sprint, nearly catching up to Emmy. That was never going to happen, of course. Still, I felt surprisingly good. Oh, sure, my legs feel like they're about to catch fire, and I'm having trouble staying upright. But there's been a shift of some sort today. And it's all thanks to the girl grinning at the finish line, waiting for me. That felt a little faster than usual. My comments met with a grin and a shrug. Can't have you think I was going soft on you now, can I? But you managed to handle it just fine. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Still feeling high from the run and moved by a surge of gratitude, I seized Emmy to hug. Thanks. Really, I'm not just saying that. I'm in your debt. Emmy seems flustered by my words, squirming uncomfortably. Don't be silly, Hisao. Someone had to haul you out here, didn't they? And it's not like you're not doing anything for me, right? I needed a running partner, remember? I shake my head, still pointedly not letting go of Emmy, who stops squirming and merely looks up at me with a quickly deepening blush. It almost seems out of character. That is interesting. Why now? Why is it like she's been super bold and forward? Why is this one causing her pause? No, that's not true. You wanted a running partner, but you didn't need one. If I hadn't showed up the day of the festival, you'd still would run, right? But it doesn't work out the other way around. I only managed to make it out here a few times before the festival. And without you, I probably wouldn't have made it out here at all after that. Emmy smiles at me and prods my chest with one finger. You are pretty lazy, Hisao. Hey, I was giving you a compliment. Well, you're welcome, I guess. I'll pay you back somehow. Oh, well, that's not necessary, you know? I mean, I kind of like you, Hisao. And being able to run with you in the mornings isn't exactly a bad deal for me either, so... For someone to get so much praise, she seems unused to gratitude. Can't think of anything else to say, so we fall silent. I become aware of Emmy's breathing, and the dampness of her clothing at the end descent of her... Yes. Coming off anyone else, it would stink. Coming off Emmy, if it turned away, nothing else would. Her skin is cool, slick with sweat, and a breeze causes goosebumps to rise. Almost without thinking about it, I lean down to meet Emmy's mouth, which has already moved to meet my own. Aww, that synchronicity is awesome. Her lips are soft, and she hums happily as we kiss, sending vibrations from her mouth to mine. There's a startling rightness to everything about this moment. We fit one another perfectly. Mostly because Hisao is like moldable clay, but that's okay. The kiss ends, and I finally let my arms drop back to my sides. Emmy smiling warmly at me and giggles again. Come on, Hisao, we better go see the nurse. Then it happens. As she turns to begin walking, she gives out a tiny yelp and stumbles forward. Oh, fetch. Emmy! I leap to her side and notice with some concern that she's favoring the same leg as last night. Your leg? Emmy seems panicked and pushes away from me. It's fine. My expression must seem hurt because she hastens to apologize. Sorry. I didn't mean to push you like that. It was just... She stumbles for something to say. It's nothing, really. Hey, don't worry about it. She's so flustered, I decided to shrug off the whole thing. But there's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach now that won't go away. I tried to step in and help her, and she pushed me away. Smiling, I shoved those thoughts back in my mind and concentrated on Emmy. I just don't want you to get hurt is all. You don't have to worry about me, honest. I'm fine. Yeah, you say that, but I don't believe you. Yeah, honestly, Sal, here's the thing. She's got a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot of baggage in there, and I think that she ties, like, whatever holds her together, I think, is directly tied with her injury. You know, I mean, it has a lot to do with the memory of her dad and, like, her willingness, her ability to not just accept her limitations. But whenever those limitations flare up, I think she feels like she's a failure in a way. It's irrational, but that's the problem. That's the thing with these kind of problems. They're not rational. And so her rejection of help is not so much like a dislike of the person or anything. It's her desperately not wanting to admit that she needs help. That this is beyond her capability of just muscling through. Because she's managed so far, and despite the warning signs, and despite the fact that she is in pain, she doesn't want that to hold her back, because she lets the pain win, she loses. She lets it win, she loses the power to have control and to maintain her grip on what her life is. It may not seem like it, but she's the kind of person who I think if she truly admitted defeat and felt like she could not win, she would immediately regress away from running and away from the things that she cares about, and to include us. So while we desperately want to help her, we can't drag that out into the sunlight. Not unless we're willing to accept the consequences regardless of what they could be. Because it'd be quite a risk. Who knows what would actually end up happening, and if our relationship would be a casualty of it or not. It might be best for her future, but might not be a part of our future if we push it. Keep worrying about you regardless, and not saying anything yesterday just makes you feel guilty about today. Should have at least asked. You did ask. Don't take that path with me. Would she have reacted the same way last night? Guess I'll never know now. I'm still trying to sort out what happened on the tracks as we arrive in front of the nurse's office. Emmy raises her hand to knock, hesitates, and turns to me, smiling guiltily. Hey, can you do me a favor? Of course. Can you tell the nurse that I'll see him later? I just remembered I've got some stuff to take care of before class. So I really need to get moving. I peer at her closely, and she fidgets under my stare. Yeah, she's clearly just avoiding the nurse. That leg of hers. Well, whatever. I said I'd help, so I will. But I'll make darn sure that she sees the nurse before the day's out. Yeah, okay. I'll let him know. Emmy looks like I've just given her a pony on Christmas. Thank you so much. You're the bestie, Sal. I am rewarded for my complicity in her lie by a kiss that makes it all worth it, or so I tell myself. As Emmy heads out of the building, trying hard not to let her limp show, I knock on the door of the office. See, this is where it's like, to be fair, here's what I would do. She never said I couldn't tell the nurse what I'm seeing, and he could hunt her down later. That's what I would do. Be like, hey, can you, like, on the down low, like, don't tell her I told you this, but she's limping, and there's obviously something going on, but she really doesn't want to tell you. I wish I knew more, but I know you know more, so can you just go talk to her, please? Ah, he's Sal. Come on in. I don't see Emmy with you. She's not sick again, is she? From the tone of his voice, I don't think the nurse is expecting me to say, yeah, she's ill. She said she forgot to do something, and so she had to skip out, but she'll see you later today. The nurse heaves in an exasperated sigh. Honestly, that girl... She's been avoiding me. Yesterday she was in and out of here without even taking off her prosthetic, and now this. Well, at least it's not just Emmy doesn't want worrying. That it's not just me Emmy doesn't want worrying. That's a comfort, I guess. Still, I feel like I should say something about her leg. I said I'd lie for her, but she really needs to see him. Now that you mention it, she was limping pretty badly today. And last night as well. The nurse's eyes narrow on the words last night. And what exactly were you two doing last night? We were, on a date. The next raised his eyebrows as if surprised. Really? Interesting. Huh? Oh, nothing. His gaze turns thoughtful, then he grins at me. You don't think I could do some of the you could use some of that boyfriend charm to get her to come see me today, could you? Of course. I was planning to do that anyway. I think she's really hurt and just pretending she isn't. Yeah, she does that. Afraid I'll make her stop running. Will you? I don't like to, but if it's bad enough that she's been limping, well, I guess I'll have to see what's wrong for myself before I make that call. I see. Emmy not allowed to run? Perish the thought. I don't know if she'd be able to function without running. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Like, it's like ironic to call it this, but it has been her crutch. I mentioned this a few times ago. Like, my girlfriend in high school went through a phase that was very traumatic emotionally. This was right before we really ended up hitting it off and started going out. But like, she actually had a falling out with a previous boyfriend whom she liked, but he was kind of pushing the boundaries of what she was comfortable with, and so she rejected him. And he took it very poorly. He then talked to her friends and convinced them that she was taking it very poorly, and they ended up kind of turning on her. So a lot of her closest friends suddenly just weren't being very responsive. They weren't really wanting to spend time with her, and then when they were constantly lecturing her about how he was such a good guy and she should just comply. Which is horrible, really. Like, if you think about it. I think they didn't understand that he was kind of pressuring her to be doing more in the relationship than she was comfortable with. I think that they just thought that she was just being kind of crazy because she just broke up with this guy randomly and broke his heart. And I don't think he told them everything, obviously. And they believed him. They didn't believe her. And I don't think she was comfortable trying to disclose everything because that's the kind of person she was. She's very much Emmy-like, honestly. She really is. Like, I don't know, I haven't talked to her in years, but I assume she's still very Emmy-like. But, yeah, I remember her thing was writing. She would write like Emmy runs. Like, it was how she dealt with stress. And she stopped writing amidst the emotional turmoil. She just felt like she couldn't do it, and she couldn't, like, concentrate on creating something. And she started to spiral into a kind of a mess of stress. Like, she started grinding her teeth and stuff. Like, I remember talking about it, and it was like freaking me out. And it was the writing. I kind of got in her face, and like, as lovingly as a friend can yell at a friend, I kind of laid down the law. I was like, look, you write. You're gonna write to this weekend. I don't care if you have to staple yourself to the floor in front of your computer. You're gonna sit there until you write something. I don't care what it is. It could be garbage. But write something. Get something out there. Write a scene you've been wanting to write for a while. Make it happen. And I think you're going to feel a lot better. And it actually worked. It was really cool. So yeah, this would be really interesting because it would be the opposite of like someone who's going through a lot of stress, forcing them to stop doing what it is that they use to process stress. What does that do to a person? It can really mess them up because it can be like it's like the dam holding back the lake. Remove the dam or break that pressure, and next thing you know, you've got a flood. No wonder she's reluctant to admit anything's wrong. Well, I'll make sure she sees you. Good. Oh, and before I forget. He grins at me in what feels like a vaguely threatening manner. Don't forget that I know what medications you're on. You be careful around Demi. Got it? Wow, he looks serious too. Got it. Don't hurt Emmy. Wouldn't dream of it. Grand. I'd hate for you to be late. Huh? Late, as in late Hisao Nakai. He frowns briefly, dissatisfied. Yeah, that didn't land, but I get what he's saying. It sounded better in my head. Well, at any rate, get out of here before you miss your first class. You've got things to do, I'm sure. Shoo. As I leave, I notice the nurse pulling out his phone and dialing a number. Uh-oh. Meiko, your daughter's been in a pain in the butt again. I better head back to my room or I really will be late. Hey, wasn't he supposed to check on my heart rate? Yeah, that's really weird. Why didn't he? He must have really be distracted by Emmy's situation right now. The lunch bell sounds and I bring myself out of a stupor I slipped into during the morning classes. My lack of sleep last night, coupled with the increased pace of this morning's run, has left me a little exhausted. Despite that, I find myself skipping stairs up to the roof. There's a thrill of excitement now, in addition to the pleasure one gets from eating lunch with one's friends. True, both Emmy and Rin are still my friends, but Emmy's become somewhat more than that now. Rin's back in her usual spot on the roof, almost as if she'd never been absent. Aw, hi Rin. Feeling better, I take it? A raised eyebrow is my reward for speaking. Better than what? Better than you felt yesterday. It gives me my question some serious thought. I'm not sure. I think I might have felt rather good for some of yesterday, but it's all fuzzy. Too much cold medicine? Well, I was asleep, and that usually is pretty good. But I can't remember if it feels like to be asleep because I'm not conscious for it. It's a real problem. Then again, if I knew how good it felt, I might not sleep anymore. But this way I keep trying, and so I guess that's how I can keep finding myself from being overtired. An eternal mystery that keeps you sleeping at night? Maybe mystery's the wrong word. Intangibility might be a proper way to describe it. Wow, she's so plainer. Not like plain as in boring, just like otherworldly. I see. No, I don't see it all. I have no idea what she's talking about, but that's okay, since I rarely do. Do you remember what sleeping feels like? Like yesterday. Do you remember what it felt like sleeping yesterday? Well, I actually didn't get a lot of sleep yesterday. Maybe that's because you remember subconsciously. Actually, I think I was worrying about Emmy. Doesn't Emmy worry enough about herself? I hadn't considered that, but it gives me pause. True. But would she ask for help if she needed it? Rin frowns, and I raise an eyebrow. Well, I got a proper answer. No and yes. Probably not. Is there something else she should be asking for help with? Her leg, for starters. This seems to catch Rin's interest. Leg? It's hurt, but she won't see the nurse about it. Rin shakes her head in disapproval. You have to make her. Like she made me go back to class for her own good. Otherwise, she could lose her legs again, and that's just too weird. Losing things twice. Especially if you don't find them again to begin with. Unless prosthetics are the same as finding something. But that's a different kind of loss, isn't it? I think so. I wonder. Wonder what? Emmy seems to have snuck up on Rin and me, though Rin doesn't seem especially surprised, which in itself is unsurprising, I suppose. Rin manages to sit herself upright quite expertly, throwing up her upper body forward and using her momentum to righten herself. Your leg, how's it feel? That earns me a frown and a bit of a glare. It's okay, I think. Not worth worrying about. Tell that to the nurse. He's quite insistent that you visit him, you know. Emmy pouts like I've just told her she's been grounded. He worries too much. It's not a big deal, just a little soreness. I try to resist rolling my eyes in exasperation. If it's nothing, then you should have no problem seeing him, right? Emmy narrows her eyes suspiciously. Did he put you up to this? Well, maybe a little. But that's not the point. I would have reminded you to see him anyway. It would be terrible to see you really hurt, not doing anything about it, honest. That would make it worse, and I don't really want to see you hurt, you know? Call me crazy, but kind of would prefer to see you happy and healthy. With each statement, Emmy's frown fades a little more, until eventually she's grinning, albeit a little shyly. Well, if you're going to put it that way, I guess I'll have to go see him. Otherwise, you'll keep worrying, and that'll never hear the end of it, right? That's right. I'll keep bugging you about it, and that might put a damper on our dates. How's the foot, Hisao? Talk to the nurse, Emmy. How's the food, Hisao? Talk to the nurse, Emmy. How was your day, Hisao? Talk to the nurse, Emmy. Hisao, I think I'm ready to go all the way. Talk to the nurse, Emmy. That one was good. Oh my gosh. See? It doesn't work out well. Emmy giggled at my high-pitched rendition of her own voice, gives me an affectionate shove. My voice isn't that high, jerk. I thought it was pretty accurate. And she's like, oh. Emmy and I stare at Rin for a while before I burst into laughter. Emmy crosses her arms and huffs mock offended. You're both jerks. Such vile what is that word? Such vile I don't think I've ever seen that word before. Fetch, man. Why is this game the one that just stumps me on the vocabulary? It's impressive. Such vile calumnies from you, young woman. I'm stunned that you would call me, of all people, a jerk. Honestly, I don't know what to think. Amy sticks her tongue out at me. You butt. So, Rin, how's the art club these days? Rin, seemingly as surprised at this sudden change of topic as I am, takes a minute to think before answering. I believe it's okay. Although, Nomiya keeps telling me to work harder. But I don't think he understands my methods. He's always struck me as kind of creepy. Rin ponders this statement for a while. I've never really noticed. But I don't pay much attention to him most days, so maybe that's why. How often do you meet? Thinking of joining, Hisao? What? Nah, I've already decided to join a club. Really? Which one? Well, it's not really much of a club, to be honest. Oh, you joined the tea club? No, I joined the science club, I think. Amy looks highly confused. We have a science club? Not really. It's just me. Hisao, that's not a club. That's sitting in your room reading books. No, I mean it's just me and Mito. I'm just the only student so far. Mito? Really? A thought strikes her. Oh, is that what you were talking about yesterday? You meeting with Mito? Yeah, that was our first meeting, I guess. Amy giggles. Nerd. Hey, I can't help being clever. You know, I could have used your help years ago. You should have had a heart attack earlier in life, Hisao. I laughed. I didn't realize it was probably one of the very rare times I've laughed about my heart attack. Hindsight. Yeah. The ringing of the bell ends our conversation. What? That was quick? I guess we better go. Yeah, I guess so. Come on, Rin. You too. Rin has apparently begun to doze off, so Amy gives her a sharp bump. I almost had it. Sorry, but you need to go to class. I disagree, but maybe if I nap in class, I'll get it this time. Changing location is sometimes helpful for that kind of thing. Neither Amy or I bother asking what it is. Oh, there's that painting again. What are you doing down there? Being all creepy. I would not be surprised if there were a hidden panel behind it and it was like a recorder, like staring and watching everything we do. Probably planted by Kenji. As we arrive at my classroom, Amy gives me a quick kiss and heads down the hallway, Rin in tow. I turn to enter the classroom to be met by the duo of Suzune and Misha. Hello, you two. I was originally planning to join your club when I first started the game. Sorry, though. I think I'm quite happy with this one. Misha seems to be fighting a losing battle and keep from breaking into a fit of giggles while she translates Suzune's latest rant. Well, we are pleased, nay, thrilled to see how you managed to make new friends and forge relationships, and with such a cutie too, Hee-chan. I think the last part is probably Misha. Yeah, Suzune probably wouldn't say that. We nevertheless feel compelled to politely remind you that public displays of affection are strictly forbidden. Really? That's disappointing, Shi-chan. By Section 8 of the Code of Conduct laid out by the Student Handbook. In this case, however, ignorance of the law may be your excuse, as we are feeling lenient, and the paperwork required to punish both of you would only add to the already mountainous volumes of work confronting us sole members of the Student Council, and besides, you two are adorable together. Shitsune, that's the one that was like, she can't understand like the little amendments, so she puts in that end of her sentences. It's really funny. Therefore, consider this a formal warning, and please refrain from such displays in the future, at least when Shizune can see you, Hee-chan. This whole spiel is so blatantly ridiculous, I can't help but reply in the same pompous manner. Well, I for one feel enlightened. I apologize profusely for my rash actions and will strive to contain my brazier impulses which, I fear, impel me towards such inappropriate displays of public affection. It is hardly my wish to burden an already overworked student council with such petty matters, and will do my best to make your lives easier in this matter in the future. At least, when Shizune is watching. The last line is delivered with a wink to Misha, who finally loses control of her laughter. I can't laugh at her voice, I can't. Well said, Hee-chan. Chuckling a little to myself, I enter the classroom. Even doing her voice, I feel like I lean back because it's just so like, blah. Class is uneventful, and after the final bell rings, I find myself alone with Mato again. So, looks like we're all assembled for the second meeting of the science club. Or is it the first? What do you think? Should we count yesterday as a meeting? Well, we did form the club yesterday, didn't we? That seems like club business. So we can safely call it yesterday meeting. Muto smiles his usual stilted and awkward way. I wonder if his muscles in his face are just not shaped correctly to let him smile naturally. It's funny, because ironically, if I were in high school again, and there was a teacher wanting to start a science club, they probably would have approached me, honestly. I love science. I always have. I was inducted into our science competitive state competition team, where you go and, like, you know, academically perform in front of people. You're allowed to compete in 3 events. I won gold medals in 2, which was really cool, because I legitimately did not think I would. And then, yeah, I got approached by the DECA Club, and they wanted me to go to a state competition for economics. My economics teacher was the one who recommended me of, like, the whole class, which I was flabbergasted that he thought I was the one that would be the best for it. But to be fair, I couldn't understand why people hated his class, because I thought the economics class was one of the easiest classes I've ever taken. So maybe it was just the fact that I kind of paid attention and most people didn't, which I don't understand why, because it's really interesting to understand how basic economics work. Anyway, I totally would have... This route might be me more than I even could have imagined, just because it's reminding me so much of my high school life. It's kind of freaky, honestly. And I went on to study sciences, you know, physics, and I'm going to continue that. And actually, I might be doing the same thing as Mato here, like studying physics and becoming a teacher. I've said that many times, but I'm excited about the idea. And I actually just talked to the university, and I'm getting the process all set up to go to school next year, because I'll finally have the time to do it, and I'm very excited. You really do have a knack for this, I think. Logical thought processes, that is. I guess so. A scientist speaks with authority, Sal. The answer here is yes, I do. When the world wants to know how it works, we tell it, even if all we've got is just a decent hypothesis. But we must sound certain anyway, because we're the authority on the subject, right? He chuckles, going along with his awkward smile and his awkward joke. I'm doing my best not to grimace, but I don't think I'm being too successful. That's entirely false, of course. We know a lot, sure, but nobody's an expert on how the world works, if only because nobody can be sure. With no certainty, there are no experts. But we like to pretend sometimes. There's some things we can be certain of, right? Yes, but no. Great example, gravity. Gravity, it works. We see it in action all the time, and yet we have no clue why. So it's like we can observe it, we can calculate on it, and we can do models that predict things like black holes and stuff, and we've like really got proof that that's a real thing now too, which is really cool. But we still have no clue how it works. Oh my gosh, it's the same thing. Oh man, this is creepy. We know gravity's there, for example. To illustrate, Muto picks up a pencil and drops it. See? Still there. But it's good enough to check every once in a while. That's why you'll still see researchers mucking about with gravity. We're pretty sure we know how it works, but there's always a chance that something isn't how we think it is. Actually, it's practically guaranteed. Because most, even, oh crap. I think, is it strong and weak forces? Like, strong forces are things that are bonded because of physical contact, and weak forces are the ones that are like two objects that aren't touching but have a connection via like electromagnetism or gravity. The term is slipping my mind right now. Don't blame my education. Blame the fact that it's late and I haven't thought about this stuff in detail for a while. So, but yeah, like we still are kind of trying to suss out really, like truly really understand how two objects that are distant from each other can affect each other. A lot of it, like Einstein's probably the best explanation, like the one we all go with, because it definitely seems, it's the one that predictably makes predictable models that are accurate, so it's pretty much the way it is, to an extent, is the warping of space-time is what causes gravity to work, which is why the moon goes around the Earth, because even though they're not touching each other, that the warping of space-time around the Earth is so strong that it's able to catch and hold onto the mass of the moon. But we don't understand things like what happens when you go past the edge horizon of a black hole where gravity is stronger than light, which is essentially the fastest thing we know of. Like what happens when why can gravity overcome like the general speed limit of the universe? Why can some gravity objects behave in certain ways? What is dark matter, and why is it exerting more force on the galaxy than all the gravity of the galaxy combined? Like, this is stuff we don't understand, but we know has to be related to it, and so we have to just suss it out as best we can. So you check and check and check. That's science in a nutshell, he shall. The whole time I've listened feeling rather spellbound. Mattel seems to be really passionate about this stuff, I think. It's hard to tell sometimes. How the world works, how humans work, how the universe works. All these questions to be answered. All depending on what I go into, maybe I could even figure out on the way to fix my heart. That said, I don't think that's really a priority for me. Besides, if we start discussing the book he gave me yesterday, I find myself more and more interested in that than in my heart condition. I hope this doesn't become a wedge between us and Emmy, but it really could be. Like, I'm worried, like, she takes things by the moment. She seemed almost perturbed by the idea of, like, moving on past high school. Like, and the more we get excited and involved in this club, the more that's probably going to become a wedge. Before we even realize it, an hour's gone by. Well, let's call this meeting over for now, okay? We'll have another meeting tomorrow, or the day after. He considers this for a moment. Call it the day after. I've got a lot of gardening to do. Or gardening? I think it was gardening. Okay, see you then. There's that painting. As I exited the classroom, I realized I didn't really have anything to do tonight. Emmy and I didn't make plans, so guess I'll go to the library. Beats doing homework in my room anyway. The library always seems cooler than the rest of the building. Probably to keep the books from getting damaged by excessive heat and humidity. Or because there's not constantly people going in and out of it, the air conditioning doesn't have to work as hard. So it just kind of keeps it cool. Books are sturdy objects, but if you want to keep them in good condition, it takes a little effort. I've got several books that are so well worn, the pages are barely clinging to the spine. Oh, I hate that. It seems impossible for them to still be usable, but if you handle them with care... I make my way to the main desk where I spot Yuko busying herself with something or another. She smiles at me as I enter and waves. Hello, Hisao. Good to see you again. What are you looking for this time? Nothing particular, I guess. I just didn't really feel like going back to my room is all. Yuko nods. Well, if you're unoccupied, maybe could you help me look for something? Sure, what do you need? That book that Kenji took, maybe? Yuko brings a finger to her lips and looks around furtively. She seems to be looking for eavesdroppers. Come closer. I guess in Japan it isn't like this. Like instead of beckoning or like doing this, like they go like this. Which is, I'll be super confused if I'm ever there. I take a few hesitant steps forward while feeling distinctly unnerved. Yuko lowers her voice to a confidential whisper. I'm on the trail of a Yamaku cat burglar. The what? Shh, the walls have ears, Isao. Or they might. But listen, those missing books, remember them? Yeah. Well, they weren't missing. They were stolen. I'm convinced of it. I remember you saying something of the sort earlier, but how do you know? Yuko leans closer and, if possible, whispers even lower. Because I found one of his hiding places. You did what? Yuko looks triumphant. Found one of his stashes. It was under one of the stairwells in the boys' dorm. 3 books that I've been looking for, all there. I'd suspected a thief before, but this proves it. So, did you take back the books? Yuko looks as if it just suggested she walk around naked. Are you nuts? He can't know I'm onto him. He might go to ground and evade capture. Uh-huh. So what do you need my help with, then? Yuko casts another glance around the library and leans in closer. You've got to spy for me. Spy? Yeah, like when you're in your dorms, you know? Keep an eye out for suspicious activity. What constitutes suspicious, anyway? I mean, Kenji's a pretty suspicious dude. I'd wager he'd barely go to class, much less sneak into the library to pilfer books. Except that's what he's doing, because he talked about the exact book that she mentioned was missing. Still, what's the harm in saying yes? At least it'll get me out of this weird conversation. Yeah, I can do that, no problem. Yuko straightens up and claps excitedly. Great! Now, hurry up and talk about something else in class in case someone comes in. How's the school treating you? Pretty well, actually. I've been running in the mornings with Emi Ibarazaki, right? Yeah. How'd you know? I serve you two in the tea house, remember? I deduced that if you were going to run with anybody, it would probably be her. She looks pleased with herself. Impressive. Anyway, yes, we've been running in the mornings. And, we kind of started dating. Yuko claps her hands together excitedly. Really? That's great! I'll bet you two are great together. Aw, thanks. I love seeing people find one another like that, you know? I even thought to myself that when you walked into the Shanghai. I said it right this time, stupid past me. I wonder if that kid will wind up with one of those girls. Really? Yuko doesn't seem to notice that my somewhat weirded out tone and nods affirmatively. Yep, I could tell that you'd wind up with one of them, you know? Because she sees the code. I've got an eye for that sort of thing. Of course. Her expression drops slightly. I'm not so good at it myself. Aw, I'm sure that's not true. Now, is there a secret, librarian route? Maybe that's the bad ending. It wouldn't be. She seems sweet, if overwhelmed. Oh, I'm sure that's not true. Oh, it's true. I met a guy once. We got along really great, but it turned out he was younger than me. And that was kind of weird, but not terribly so. What was really weird was that he disappeared one day, and I've not seen him since then. Oh my gosh, it's Kenji. If Yuko and Kenji are our thing, I will freak out. Huh, that does seem kind of odd. Doesn't it? I hope it wasn't something I did. I feel compelled to reassure her. I'm sure it wasn't. I intend to try and calm her down further, but both of us jump in surprise as the ring suddenly comes from my pocket. Yuko sighs to steady herself and to pull the phone out of my pocket. I feel a little sheepish for indirectly causing the incident. Emmy, what's up? Oh, thank goodness. I haven't called your phone before, so I didn't know if this number would work or whether you would pick up, and I can't... Whoa there. Emmy, slow down. What's wrong? There's a pause on the other side of the line, during which I can hear Emmy trying to control her breathing in order to calm down. Uh-oh. Her mom intervened, didn't she? Something's got her terribly agitated, and it's starting to agitate me. Can you stop by? Now, or shortly after now? I really, really need to talk to you. There's a tone of pleading in the last sentence that I don't think I've ever heard from her. Yes, ma'am, we are going to break through the wall. Of course, I'll be right there. Hold steady, okay? In my increasing agitated state, I apparently started saying things that don't quite make sense. Okay, I'll be okay. See you soon. I pressed the button to end the call before slipping the phone back into my pocket and apologized to Yuki for running off and run off. Fetch, man, what is this? Perhaps at some point I would have stopped to think about the time or how suspicious it looks for a guy to enter a girl's dorm at this hour. Screw that noise. Except right now, I'm just concerned about getting to Emmy and finding out what's wrong and how I can help her. I knock on the door and am greeted with a subdued, "Come in." Something is very wrong as I stare at the scene before me. Emmy's there, yes, but she's in a wheelchair. Oh no. Did they literally take her legs? Are you serious? It can't be that bad, or is it that bad? Oh no. And her legs are missing. I glance around the room to see them sitting in a corner, looking like they've been thrown there. Amy responds with my entrance with a lopsided grin that's both pleased to see me and completely, utterly heartbroken. Hi, Hisao. It looks like she's been crying, but if she was, she stopped now. I notice that I'm a little out of breath, having taken the stairs two at a time in order to get here. My heart doesn't seem to mind the strain, though. File this happy fact away for later consideration. Like when I'm not staring somewhat dumbstruck at my girlfriend in a wheelchair. Realizing I've still not responded to her greeting, my brain lurches into gear. Emmy, what happened? Guess I should have listened to you, Hisao. My leg's got a nasty infection. I'm not allowed to run on it for at least a couple weeks. She gives a bitter laugh that shouldn't be coming from her. I can't even walk on it. I could have used a crutch and kept one of my legs, but I didn't see the point. Why hop when you can't run on one leg? At least this way I don't know, roll fast or something. Yeah, that's good, right? My awkward attempt to look on the bright side seems appreciated, but really not effective. Emmy shrugs again. It's just kind of a nuisance. I mean, we can't even eat up on the roof now. No wheelchair access. Yeah, but that's not a big deal, right? No, you idiot. No, you say, fetch, I'll carry you. I mean, we can still eat together. That's the important thing. That lopsided grin again. It hurts to look at. I suppose so, yeah. But like I said, it's a nuisance. I mean, I haven't really used a wheelchair in... She thinks for a minute. Maybe 7 years? Something like that anyway. A long time. I'm afraid I'm a bit out of practice. Well, fortunately, it's only temporary, right? Emmy nods. Oh, yeah, of course. It's not like I've lost him permanently. But it's a pain, all the same. I nod sympathetically. There's not much else I can do after all. What am I going to do? Say I told you so? Although I did tell her to get that leg looked at. But by the time I noticed it, it was too late anyway. Do you need help with anything? That is, can I help you with anything? Amy shakes her head. There's a bit of her usual grin back. Nah, I can manage just fine by myself. Although if you want to help me over to the bed, it would save me the trouble of rolling over there myself. I blush in spite of myself. Emmy giggles. You're such a prude, Hisao. I'm not a prude. Just wouldn't want you to take advantage. I wouldn't want to take advantage of a young woman such as yourself. It's ungentlemanly. I wheel Amy's chair to her bed and easily scoop her up and deposit her there. She quickly sorts herself out and sits on the side. See, carry her up the stairs. That's not that bad. Your heart can handle it. She's actually a little heavier than she looks. It'd be rude for me to observe this aloud, of course. That's all that dense muscle, man. Man, you're kind of heavy. Smack! Emmy hits me with a pillow. But, just saying, it's all. Must be all that running. At the mention of running, Emmy's grin falters slightly. Oh, idiot. well, I guess I won't have to worry about that for a bit, huh? Maybe I'll lose some weight. That's what you do. That's what you do to lose weight, right? Cease physical activity? I'm pretty sure that's what the nurse would recommend. Speaking of which, are you still going to be showing up in the mornings? I'd hate to run a look. Oh, crap. Emmy's suddenly interjection, more disquieted muttering than anything too profane, causes me to look over in shock. She's leaning forward, trying to cover the fact that she's crying by covering her eyes with her hand. Yeah, come on, idiot. Pay a frickin' attention, man. I don't know. It's like he's been in here 5 minutes and he's already doing such a bad job at this, but it's okay, honestly. Of course, the subdued sobbing makes it pretty obvious that she's crying. Hey, I'm sorry. Forget I said anything, okay? I place a hand gingerly around her and pull her close. I can think of nothing else to do. How do you comfort someone who just lost their legs again? Yeah, you know what? You know how you... Okay, lesson for life. I don't know if this always is the case. It's always case by case. But generally, if someone's coming to you crying, I don't care if it's boy or girl, but like guys tend to need to listen more. Than to listen more, okay? When someone calls you and they need you and they want to talk to you, they're often not looking for a solution. They're clever. They probably thought of the same things you're going to think of. Just shut up, listen, and lean. Let them lean on you. Be there. For me and my friends, like especially my closest friends, whenever we go through something like really terrible, like I specifically remember like a night with my best friend Toby. He had broken up with his girlfriend at one time, and he just called me up. He says like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, I kind of want to spend some time. I want to do something." He called me at like 11. Like it just occurred, and he'd just come home. I was like, "Sure." We stayed up all night, just hanging out. We didn't talk about it. I didn't try and like console him or tell him it was going to be okay or that things are going to work out and that these things happen. I just was there. We went and bought donuts and chocolate milk, put on some stupid like television show like Futurama. Well, stupid and great. And just like vegged the night away. And like that did a lot more for him than I think it ever would have just trying to talk to him about his feelings. Not that talking about feelings isn't important, but I think in the critical moments, you need to just be there and just listen. And if they're not wanting to talk about this stuff, just be there. Do stuff. Be your normal self and just let them be themselves too. Like I said, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation, but it's a good rule of thumb. And he wraps me in a hug and stays that way for a while. I'm sorry. I'm pretty bad at this whole comforting thing, I guess. Don't say that. I'm fine, really. Her voice is slightly muffled by my chest, and I pat her head reassuringly. That's the spirit, right? You'll get through it. You'll get through this fine. I know it. Besides, I'm here to help you, remember? Amy lifts her head and stares at me with tear-stained eyes. Can you? Can you really? She's grinning lopsidedly as something sparkles in her gaze. Can't tell if I'm being mocked or not. Of course. I mean, I'm sure you're a bit heavy, but my witty comments cut off by a sudden press of Emmy's lips on mine. I'm caught off guard and rewarded by hitting my head on the wall behind her bed. Ow! Emmy pulls back, trying to look concerned rather than like she's about to laugh. Are you okay? Sorry. I rubbed my head ruefully and grinned back at her. Caught me off guard there. Is that going to become a habit? I'm going to be lectured by Suzune and Misha more? At the mention of the duo, Emmy giggles. Honestly, those two. If I didn't know why, I'd be utterly confused as to why she hangs around with someone so bossy. Which one are we talking about? You know exactly which one, Hisao. Misha's hardly bossy. So what's the reason then? Huh? The reason why Misha hangs around Suzune. Emmy waves the question off with a smile. No idea. Well, that says volumes. I see. I have my suspicions. Anyway, you seem to be forgetting the original question, don't you? Oh yeah, I guess I am. You wouldn't mind giving a guy a little warning, would you? Otherwise, I'm liable to wind up with a concussion. I emphasize point by rubbing the back of my head. Emmy giggles badly. You could wear a helmet. Some kids here do, you know. Or I could just take revenge. I grab a pillow from beside me and whack Emmy over the head. Emmy toptails off the bed and lands on the floor with a thump. Oh no, you idiot. You don't swing that direction! Her arms promptly reappear on the bed and she manages to pull herself back up. She really has a surprising amount of strength in that little body. Her face is twisted downward away from mine, making me think I might have accidentally hurt her. Emmy, you okay? You didn't hit your... And shoots up and grabs my collar and she pulls me in with a sharp tug, her face out barely an inch from mine as she grins cheekily. Emmy? Uh-oh. She gives me a sharp headbutt. Our foreheads making quite a loud thud. Fetch, man! I sit back and rub my now sore head as Emmy smirks victoriously. How's that for revenge? No fair! You can't take revenge for revenge! There's someone missing most of her legs. Emmy's surprisingly agile. I swipe at her, but she deftly rolls out of the way and lands a hit with her pillow. Of course, that odds are against her. I can stand up for starters. Oh. Oh, snap. Well, I've never wanted to be conquered so badly in my life. Guess I can't. After all, Emmy seems to have effectively tripped me up some. Now I'm sitting primly astride me as I lay on my back. I'm not even sure how she managed it. I win. Her eyes twinkle mischievously. I've been thoroughly defeated by a girl that's a fraction of my size at that. And again, being defeated doesn't seem quite so bad. Emmy's being positioned over my waist isn't something that I or my body can ignore easily. Yep, here come the hormones. I open my lips to speak, but Emmy's heart darts downward before I can do so much as get a word out. I give no resistance as she presses her mouth to mine. Not that I'd want to. This is different somehow. She pulls back, nips at my lower lip, and reinitiates the embrace. Wow. I think we might be getting into territory that the YouTube's not liking, so I'm going to continue. But if we cut out in the future, you'll know why. Her tongue darts inside my mouth, exploring. I can feel a warmth spreading through my body as my heart begins to beat faster. Oh boy. My mind starts to go foggy, and I become vaguely aware of my hand traveling up Emmy's blouse. Yep, Emmy gasps as I reach the breast, then gives a giggle, and then... I stare up at a grinning Emmy. Told you. That makes my second win now. What? That doesn't count. You use your feminine wiles. All's fair in love and war, right? Huh. You've been blushing. I didn't even know you were a blusher, Hisao. You're blushing too, you know. Probably because of your prudish because of your prudish ways. Even I've got to admit that this stupid thing to say to a woman who's currently straddling me and has been up till a few seconds ago playing tonsil hockey with me. Oh no. That is one of the greatest descriptions ever. think I'm blushing a little bit too, but honestly, that's not ultimately the same. Maybe a little bit. It's also really hot in here, like freaking summer, man. A prude, am I? Well then, let's see who blushes first, shall we? Oh, this is a game. I volunteer as tribute. Once again, we might be fading to black here for you guys, but we'll see about me. I'm not sure whether the tone of her voice terrifies or arouses me, but that question is quickly made rather moot. It would be both, yes. Yep, YouTube is not here anymore. An emotion of practiced ease, she peels off her blouse and tosses it carelessly aside. Her broad skirt quickly followed onto the floor. Ha! I fight the urge to blush. It's rather a hard task. Escalation, is it? My own shirt follows suit, albeit with some difficulty thanks to my position. Emmy mock yawns. You'll have to try harder than that. Several edited minutes later. My mind blanks, filled with a white noise, as I succumb to the feeling of climax. For a few seconds, everything else in the world fades away, except for this amazing feeling of Emmy and I together. And then, it passes. The white noise clears, and I'm left staring into the eyes of the girl atop me. For a few minutes, neither of us speaks. The sound of our breathing fills the room, our chest heaving from the experience. She eventually reluctantly shifts off me and sits against the wall, and I join her. I need to see if... No, it's too late. So, did I blush? I didn't notice. Did I? Emmy shrugs, still breathing a little heavily. Didn't notice either. Well, maybe we should... Oh! So, I now know for sure that we are here, and we have the old classic that's returning. We haven't seen this in a while on the channel. The coconuts are here. Protecto YouTube-friendly coconuts. Oh boy, I haven't had to deal with this type of editing in a while. By the way, what you missed. Brilliant. Brilliant. It was well written and wonderful. And I don't know. Like I said, there's a big difference between like what I would consider just like fan service and like genuine like romantic storytelling. Not everyone's gonna agree, but for me, I feel like it needs to be earned. Like we need to have established characters, established relationships, and that makes it okay in my book. Not everyone would agree with me, but that for me makes it fulfilling and makes it feel like, I don't know, it can be easy to forget that these are characters. And that the point of this story isn't about the physical side of it all. That it's a part of it though. Because like real relationships, that is a major part of a real relationship. To ignore it is in my mind foolishness and flat out like, I don't know, it almost could be seen but pandering possibly. If it fits the need of the story, it should be in there. However, blatantly over-sexualizing and using that as your selling point, I hate that. But that's not what this is. This is about a real relationship with fictional but realistic characters. So I don't mind at all. Though YouTube does, so I have to be careful about them. So, so you saw the last bit, because I wasn't quite sure exactly when we jump into now. But now we have this. We have this. Oh dear. Oh, Rin. Oh, Rin. Here we go. I need to use your window. My first instinct is to hide, but then I realized I'm still utterly exhausted and sitting next to a topless Emmy. There's no running away. Also, just realized, was the window uncovered? That could be bad. Rin's eyes pass over Emmy and me and focus on the window. There was a cloud. A cloud? Rin nods. I was watching it from the window, but it didn't stay in my window. So I needed to use your window. Emmy shifts a little, causing me to cough in order to cover up a giggle of my own. How long do you need the window for? We're, busy. This time I can't contain my laughter. Rin ignores both Emmy and me and peers out the window. Her shoulders slump and she looks disappointed. It changed into something else. Disappointing. Emmy's having trouble keeping a straight face. I'm sorry to hear that, Rin. Can we have a little privacy now, please? Then she just leaves. Rin shrugs and says, can you? And hooks her foot around the door, pulling it close behind her. We both dissolve into raucous laughter, unable to deal with Rin's bizarrely timed visit in any other way. Oh, you need to lock your doors. After our laughter dies down, I look at Emmy. We're both a total mess. Well, Emmy raises an eyebrow. Well? Again. Dude, you said a dude. Emmy grins and laughs, and then she nods. We should probably ditch the clothes this time. Wow. Well, there you go. Oh, man. The things I record myself watching. Oh, YouTube gods, please be nice. Oh, I actually made it home. Interesting. Well, it's still going to be rough. There's a lot to deal with, but man, I guess that's one way to deal with stress. You know, it works. I'm sorry. I've hit the microphone like 3 times and I haven't said anything because it's been very minor, but like, I'm sorry, Mr. Microphone. I apologize. Well, what'd you guys think? I, of course, cut out the best bits, but you know, you could always play the game yourself. It's free, dang it. And most of you probably already have, so kudos to you. Just know that, I guess, kind of a rule of thumb for me, personally. I try and watch the uncensored versions of anything I play. With the standards as they are, if I'm playing something, I want to see it as it was intended to be created. And if there's stuff in it that I have problems with, or because it's like, it'd be because it's over the top fan service stuff, and I don't play those games anyway. They're pretty easy to spot, so you know, that's just how it goes. That was a lovely scene. It was very well written. It had the balance of good descriptions and being kind of pulling us into the moment when it comes to being a part of that scene, but not being overt. Like, it felt natural, and it was created in a way that I think was just well accomplished in pretty much every way. Like, a good example of one I think was a little too much is Mug Love Extra. When I did the last episode of that, there's a scene with Takaru and Mia. And I felt like that got a little too, like, it focused on some things and then didn't focus on other things in a way that I felt was detrimental to like what was supposed to be a very emotionally charged scene. This, on the other hand, felt very nice, like as far as like the way it was described. Of course, I'm coming across this like very analytically. It was very pleasing just to read and just to be a part of, and not because it was full of the smecks, you know? And so I can appreciate that. It also just was really well done. We got the return of coconuts. I haven't had to use those since the Sunrider series, which I had to use a lot. Each game was not shy. And that's even like the Steam save version. I think you can get like an unedited version there. But anyway, I actually don't know if that was public or not. I can't remember. Might have been like a backers only thing. But anyway, what a crazy episode. I mean, they've taken this relationship pretty quick, but not like an unreasonable way, I think, especially considering like the bonding events that have happened. And I'm really excited to see where this goes. I'm a little nervous though. I hope the infection doesn't spread. The problem, because any infection, especially one that's been ignored, has a real risk of going septic. And that could actually put her in very real danger, like more danger than we're in, considering how delicate our heart is. So, like, while I'm very pleased with the state of the relationship, I'm very nervous about what's coming next. So, oh, that's a choice of words right there. Anyway, I'm excited to see where things go from here. I hope that things are going to be okay, and I don't know, maybe Hisao can take her running or like meet up with her. I don't know. I'm really curious to see how their situation and what they do is going to alter and change. Also, did Rin even comprehend what was going on, or was she purposely just ignoring it, or was she really just so caught up in her own thoughts that she barely noticed what like the scene was? Oh, I love it. Rin is the best third wheel ever. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for watching and participating. And once again, shout out to the creators. There's a lot of real love that got into this story. It wasn't just about like a simulating of a relationship. It was about telling a real story. And with Hisao being a blank canvas that he is, it still was very impactful, I think. So, yeah, I'm very happy with it. It'll be fun to edit, let me tell you. This will be what I have to make sure I'm alone for, but that's okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. It's a pleasure having you here. I'm very grateful that you get to spend your time with me and that we get to explore this wonderful story together. And I hope that we get to continue for many weeks. And then when it's over, I hopefully have something else to catch your attention that we can continue to explore into infinitum or the death of YouTube, whatever ends up happening. Anyway, thank you guys so much. And until the next video you're watching me or have to see me in next, I'll see you there.